I'm Trip Clark.
And I'm Tom Lang, and this is Open Throttle 360.
Open Throttle 360 presented by Millerstown Pick Apart. Used parts for less. Great parts, great selection. For more information, visit pickapartyard.com.
Welcome to another episode of Open Throttle 360. We're at the ultimate car cruise at the gallery at Pittsburgh Mills. Trip, the weather's warming up. Car cruise season is in full swing.
The weather's warm, the cars are out. We wait a long time for this around here, you know?
Yeah.
I know. We're going to see a lot of nice cars, not only in this show, but throughout the rest of the season. Before we get to some of that, a couple things too coming up in this episode I'm looking forward to is we got a chance to go to Roaring Knob. First time down there. Had a chance to talk to the track owner of Roaring Knob. And Flashlight Drags, which was a lot of fun. Talked to a driver that made it all the way up from North Carolina to attend.
In a previous episode, we followed the folks from Carnegie Mellon University as their race team prepared to go to an event. Something I've learned in my years of racing, things never work out the way they plan them.
Never do.
Let's find out if the smart guys can plan better than us regular folk.
Right.
We're going to Cobb! We're going to Cobb! Yeah! Hey, here you go, Spinelli. You can take a shot of all of us.
Yeah! See you later, Pittsburgh!
That's hard enough to say right here. Now how do you stop it?
So competition for us this year was a bit of up and down. Our static events at the beginning of the week, we did really well. We placed 15th in the cost report and 18th in our business presentation.
So the event went pretty well starting out. Like Adam was saying, we did really well in the static events. After the first day, we were 14 points out of 1,000 out of first place. So we were very excited and our hopes were high. We were going home Thursday night and we're ready to kick some butt.
All right, we're standing in line for the tilt test. As you can see, the car goes up on a jig and gets tilted to make sure no fuel leaks. So getting in line for that, and here we go.
Coil packs 1 and 3 failed, and so we didn't have spark on those cylinders, and because of that there was excess fuel, and then we backfired into our intake, so we blew that up. And then in the process of fixing that, we found out that damage caused from that backfire may have warped the cylinder head, so we blew a head gasket as well. And despite trying to replace the head gasket, it didn't really work out.
We blew a coolant line off of one of our catch cans, and that caused us a little bit of worries with the steam billowing out of the car.
We ran the endurance event with a blown head gasket, and while it was fine for the engine because we tend to beat on them, the event organizers weren't really happy with us shooting steam out of the side of the car.
We had a bit of a problem about 2 weeks prior. We had a fire right around the exhaust. We had some material there that wasn't quite up to the temperature ratings that we needed. And at that point, we tested the car out. Everything was fine for a series of hard testing, probably 10, 15 hours of runtime between then and competition. But we could have done a more thorough checkover of the car, because what we had found after the fact was that the insulation around the wiring heading up to the coil packs had actually melted through, and we were getting intermittent shorting between cylinders 1 and 3's coil, and that's what caused our problems, we think.
Despite the hardship, I think the team really pulled together to try and get everything fixed, and even though we didn't get to run, we saw a lot of other teams, we had friends there that we got to meet, and we were overall still happy with the event. So learning was still done, and that's most important to us.
I think the team is definitely going to have a great time moving forward with this new knowledge, and that idea of testing all the time is really going to be sunken in to the kids who are taking over for next year.
Various forms of motorsports require a great deal of travel. We saw that the folks from CMU had to travel to Michigan for their event. We recently met a young lady, traveled all the way from North Carolina just to go to the Flashlight Drags. As we're cruising around here at the Flashlight Drags, I see some out-of-state license plates. This one here is from North Carolina. Christina, you came all the way from North Carolina for this race?
Actually, no, we came from West Virginia. We travel a lot.
What kind of car is this we're standing in front of?
It's a 93 Toyota Supra.
And you drive this car?
I do.
So you're driving it out here today in the races?
Yes, I am.
How you doing?
You win some, you lose some.
Well, that's a good attitude. Has this car been hot rodded at all? Or is it pretty much stock?
Pretty much stock.
But it still gives you a thrill when you're driving it?
Oh, yeah.
You like driving fast?
I love it.
What's the fastest thing you've ever driven?
Driven. That would be our Supras.
All right, what's the fastest thing you ever rode in?
That would be a motorcycle.
And how fast you go on that?
170.
170?
Yes. I would never do that again.
You were the rider or
I was
passenger?
the rider. I was the passenger.
You know, that takes a lot of courage to be on the back of a bike when somebody else is driving it at a $170.
Yes, it does.
Did that make you a little nervous?
Well, I have to say I was young, so I didn't really mind too much, but now I wouldn't.
Oh, so you were young and dumb. That was
Yes,
okay.
young and dumb.
Is going fast in the car as scary as going fast on the back of the bike with somebody else driving it?
No,
So you're not worried when you're the one in control, huh?
no.
Well, thanks for coming up here to Pennsylvania. Hope you're having a lot of fun here today.
I am, thank you.
And I hope you enjoy driving your Toyota.
I am, thank you.
That was one super smoking Supra, huh? Thought I was going somewhere else, didn't you? If you want to hear about all the events going on at the Flashlight Drags, it's easy. Just go to flashlightdrags.com. If you're looking for parts for your car, truck, or van, you gotta come to Millerstown Pick Apart. We have the area's best selection of parts and we let you pick it yourself. We offer the lowest prices around, or if you'd prefer, we'll find the part for you. Millerstown Pick Apart. Parts for newer cars, classic cars, foreign cars, trucks, and vans. Located in Torrena, Millerstown Pick Apart is right up Route 28 from downtown Pittsburgh. Millerstown Pick Apart, 724-224-4777 or online at pickapartyard.com.
Feel the rush and witness some of the region's most exciting wheel-to-wheel racing action as the Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC Rush Dirt Late Model Series races to a speedway near you. Witness some of the nation's finest up-and-coming young drivers battle each other all summer long. Pittsburgh, Sharon, McKean County, The Rock, Roaring Knob, Allegheny Mountain, and Bradford Speedway. Bring the family and introduce your kids to our phenomenal group of racers. It's a new generation full of new young heroes. Check us out at rushracingseries.com and feel the rush.
As we mentioned earlier, it's car cruise season. This guy standing next to me is the major domo of car cruises in this area, Vito Capaccio. Vito, thanks for having us here tonight.
Tom, welcome to the Ultimate Car Cruise at the Galleria Pittsburgh Mills in Tarentum. It's every Wednesday and Friday night.
In addition to operating car cruises, you've got a website that helps people find out when and where car cruises are. Tell us a little bit about that.
The website's called carcruises.com. We've been around since 2000 and it's just growing. Last May we had 70,000 people that checked it out in the month of May. So it's just growing and growing.
How did you get involved in operating car cruises?
We started in the 1980s doing the cruises in McKees Rocks at Jim Crivelli Chevrolet with Jim Baburka and Ron Maseka. And it grew ever since, but there was no uniform place where people could go and find information. So we started the website in 2000.
Yeah, no internet back then. Now those car cruises at Crivelli's, they were legendary.
We're very proud of them.
Sort of the benchmark for measuring success of car cruises.
I'm flattered that you say that. It was considered the best Chevy promotion of the year, and the dealership was awarded an appearance by Dale Earnhardt Sr. for free. So they were definitely legendary.
How are you going to make cruises better?
We always make them family friendly, and I think that's the key. And we're accessible. We're here at the mall. We've got parking for 1,000 cars, so it's just a lot of fun.
Real nice turnout tonight, some really great cars, and I know what you mean about family friendly because you can see people of all ages out here at this car cruise.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for having us here today.
Thanks again.
Let's go to Roaring Knob, find out what's going on the dirt track. We're at Roaring Knob Motorsports Complex. With me now is the owner and promoter, Rick Jones. Rick, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Yep, anytime.
Beautiful facility you have here. Your weekly show, what's it consist of?
Oh, we got super late models, street stocks, crate late models, 4 cylinders, and a Charger class.
What kind of big races do you have on schedule for this year?
Well, we have like Lucas Oil, that's $10,000 to win show. We have NDRA with John Kennedy, a $20,000 to win race for super late models. We have some huge Rush crate late model series coming. We have like 3 or 4 big events for them, like 2,000 and 3,000 to win. In all classes throughout the whole year, we have big events for all classes.
One thing I find interesting here, you have a nice mix of grandstands, but you got a great big grassy hillside. A lot of the people just set up their lawn chairs and sit right on the grass.
Yep, you can bring your blanket. We keep the facility very nice, grass always mowed. Bring your lawn chairs, kick back, or you can set up the bleachers. We have no smoking sections. It's just a great facility for all type of family. All kids 11 and under always left in free, never charged for children. We need to give everybody a break in life, and definitely up here we keep everybody the same.
What is in the future for Roaring Knob?
More bigger events. We got 20,000 to win event coming this year. I think you'll see next year a couple more of them, and some more Lucas Oils, and probably a couple more 410 sprint shows. We sanction our own as far as the 410 sprints, and I think that's going to be a big and upcoming thing.
Have you personally ever had a chance to drive a race car?
Yeah, I retired in 2002, super late model champion of Potomac Speedway. And I took over Potomac Speedway then. Pete Cameron sold me the track down there, and we had it for like 6 or 7 years. We moved out of there, and we still run the Rock Speedway in Cumberland. Still have that. We run that every Sunday afternoon. Down there we open up at 5 o'clock and run these Rush crate late models, and we got some super late model events, just trying to keep everybody going.
What's a bigger challenge, driving a race car or running a racetrack?
I think a smart man would have stayed racing, I really do.
But I can tell you enjoy this too.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's great people, just up here in Martinsburg, I'll tell you, at Roaring Knob, it's just a great facility. The fans are just unbelievable. The drivers are unbelievable. Everybody's here to support you. You know, you don't hear much grief from no one, and that's very unusual in promoting. But everybody's just been fantastic up here the last 4 years. We plan on being here a long time.
We had a chance to talk to Rick Jones, owner of Roaring Knob Speedway. Well, the night we were there, Flying Ryan Montgomery took his late model to victory lane. Open Throttle 360s at Roaring Knob Motorsports Complex for the Sweeney Rush Dirt Late Model Series. With me now is another one of the young guns in this series, Ryan Montgomery. Ryan, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for coming up here.
You've had a lot of success in kart racing. I believe 17 championships in 6 years.
Yeah, 17 championships in 6 years. We've raced all over the country, from Florida to Kansas to New York, anywhere.
Now, most of that kart racing, that was on dirt?
Yeah, most of it was. There's a couple races on concrete, just most of it was basically dirt.
Compare for me the difference between driving a kart on dirt, and I believe you drove a UMP modified, and now the Rush late model. What's the difference between those three cars racing them on dirt?
Go-kart didn't really get up, didn't really move. You just drove it in there straight. It was kind of like driving a pavement car. If that's pretty much what it looked like. And then you get into a modified and a late model, all this different stuff, and the rear end hikes up, wants to spin around, and you got to drive it sideways a little bit, turn it right. You know, it was a lot to get used to. We went up to Elkins and practiced a lot. Did like 1,000 laps, I would say, before we even hit a racetrack and raced it. And then we got into a crate late model a year after, the Rush late model, and just went uphill from there. We ran a couple of the tour races at the beginning of the year, realized that I really wasn't suited for the tour race, didn't have enough experience yet, so then I started to run around here locally at Roaring Knob and every other place. Started winning races, doing good, and we went to Sharon at the end of the year, about 2 years ago, and we won our first ever Rush Sweeney Tour race.
Now, you were 14 years old when you stepped into the late model. Did some of the older drivers, how did they accept a young guy like you? Were they real accepting of you, or did they try to bully you? Or?
At first, they really wasn't accepting of me. They just thought they could use me as a wall going to the corner and just move me up out of the way and stuff. But I showed them that I could drive and how I drove clean and did all that stuff, and I earned their respect. And now they realize that I'm up front running all the time when I go to the racetrack.
Now, you're 16 years old now.
Yeah.
Well, you're not the youngest guy. You're not even close to being young for this series.
No, not anymore. Whenever I first started, I was a young gun rookie. Not anymore.
Has your experience from driving the go-kart on dirt, has that helped you know what kind of changes to make on this car during the course of a race?
It has somewhat with like stagger and different other types of things, but Doug Horton at High Gear Speed Shop, right when I started racing the crate late model, he's helped us ever since. He's been my crew chief. He's helped us all the way through setting up the car, changing the car at the racetrack. If I'm somewhere and he's still at the shop working, I can call him and he'll immediately tell me what I need to do, and it's great to have him. It's great to have somebody like that, just trying to learn on your way in.
What are the long-range plans for Ryan Montgomery? Where do you want to end up in this racing deal?
I would like to end up running more of Outlaws, Lucas Oil late models. When I was younger racing go-karts, I always wanted to go to NASCAR, but that's 1 in a million chance. I mean, it's a 1 in a million chance to go to run Lucas Oil and stuff, but I feel like I have enough talent and I have enough stuff to do that. Hopefully in a couple of years we can buy a super late motor, get a bigger sponsor. Hopefully if somebody recognizes me at some point in time, I'm always open. I got places on the car right now. If somebody wants to sponsor me, just anything.
How do you like this Sweeney Rush series?
It's a new series. I think they put it together great. I think it's going to be a great deal. It's got nice rules with Alpha Neesmith rules. I think it's a great series, and it's going to be one to mess with.
Well, we'd like to thank you for talking to us tonight. Lots of luck tonight. I hope this right side comes back without a mark on it. Yeah. And good luck this season.
All right, thank you.
Sounds every man loves to hear.
Ooh, nice hair.
Text Super PGH to 667-788 for special offers from Supercuts.
Feel the rush and witness some of the region's most exciting wheel-to-wheel racing action as the Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC Rush Dirt Late Model Series races to a speedway near you. Witness some of the nation's finest up-and-coming young drivers battle each other all summer long. Pittsburgh, Sharon, McKean County, The Rock, Roaring Knob, Allegheny Mountain, and Bradford Speedway. Bring the family and introduce your kids to our phenomenal group of racers. It's a new generation full of new young heroes. Check us out at rushracingseries.com and feel the rush.
As popular as the local racing scene is in the area, we owe it to the veterans that blazed the trail before the young up-and-coming drivers. Open Throttle 360 had a chance to get to the Circle Track Old Timers Dinner and visit with Smokey Shemp.
Just like a lot of people involved in this sport, they've been involved in many aspects of it, and this gentleman's no different. This is Smokey Shemp. You started out your career as a driver. Tell us a little bit about that.
I started out at the old Heidelberg and South Park Speedway as a race driver, and I drove up until like 1978. Then I became an official.
What made you get out of driving and into being a race official?
I was driving a race car opening night at Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, and the guy they had running the pits didn't have everything the way it should be, so I was helping him. And then the next week, the owner of the car I was driving calls me on the telephone, says, I didn't know you quit. I said, I didn't know you fired me. He said, well, read the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. There's a big article in there. You're the new head pit steward. I said, well, that's news to me. So then I called at that time Bob Sandman, that was the general manager, and he says, yeah, I want you to be the steward.
Did that pay better than driving a race car?
I never took money from the people I drove. I used to tell them to put the money back in the car because I was privileged enough to drive the car that I never thought to take money off people.
Where all have you acted as a race official, and what jobs have you had?
Well, I was flagman for about 5 years, 6 years at Motordrome before it went to asphalt. I flagged at Latrobe Speedway, which is, well, the Schmucker Speedway. I've been a head official at Lernerville Speedway for the last about 15 years. I've been a head official at Pennsylvania Motor Speedway since the day it opened in 1979. Roaring Knob, I helped get that started. Just about every racetrack in the area I've been an official at.
In all your years of involvement in motor racing, is there one memory that stands out amongst the others?
Well, when I was a flagman, Lynn Geisler and Ben Miley, they were leading the feature, running 1 and 2, coming out of the fourth, turned down the front straightaway, and Lynn got into Ben and put him up on the wall, and he tore me right off the flagman stand. I was knocked off the flagman stand, was broke down, and I was hanging upside down on the fence.
I can see why that's something you'd remember the best, but I don't really think that would be my best memory.
Like I said, there's been so many different things. When I lined cars up at Lernerville, I got run over by a sprint car and actually had an imprint of my body in the racetrack.
I would take it that being a flagman or a on-track official is almost more dangerous than driving a car?
Really and honestly, yes, sir. It is, especially down on the racetrack. You have to have your eyes everywhere, because some of these guys, they get a little bit hot when they get spun out, and that's what happened with the sprint car. He got spun out, and they fired him and got him down the back straightaway, and he come down the front straightaway, and I pointed to him and told him, you know, he was on the tail, and all of a sudden he lost it, and I was walking off the racetrack, and car just followed me right off, and he ran over me.
If you weren't involved in racing all these years, though, how would you have spent the time?
I'm into classic cars. I own 3 different classic cars, and I'd probably be fooling with them.
What kind of cars do you have?
I have a 78 Indy Pace car Corvette, 84 Choo-Choo El Camino, and I have a 76 Landau Chevelle.
We'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and on behalf of the racing community, I want to thank you for your involvement and your commitment to the sport all these years. It doesn't survive without people like you.
No, I do it because it's just the love of the sport. I've been doing it 50 years.
And that's why most of us are in it.
Yep, that's the only reason you should be in it.
best tires, parts, and service. Tire Town.
If you're looking for parts for your car, truck, or van, you gotta come to Millerstown Pick Apart. We have the area's best selection of parts and we let you pick it yourself. We offer the lowest prices around, or if you'd prefer, we'll find the part for you. Millerstown Pick Apart. Parts for newer cars, classic cars, foreign cars, trucks, and vans. Located in Tirana, Millerstown Pick Apart is right up Route 28 from downtown Pittsburgh. Millerstown Pick Apart, 724-224-4777 or online at pickapartyard.com.
Every car cruise we go to, we see a ton of great cars. Found us a 1970 Oldsmobile W30, right, Frank?
442 W30.
Frank from Glenshaw. This car is about as original as they come. I noticed it's got the red fender wells in it.
It's my baby.
Is there anything on it that's not stock?
No, everything's pretty much the way it should be.
How long you had the car?
6 years.
What'd you have before that?
I've had about 30 other Oldsmobiles. I'm an Oldsmobile guy. I like Oldsmobile convertibles.
Is this one going to be a keeper?
This one's a keeper.
So you're not letting this one go.
No,
so you're going to stop at 30.
I have a 66. I have some other ones, but this is the one I like the best.
Any of them modified, hot rodded in any way?
You don't have to hot rod these. This thing has 400 horsepower. That's all you need.
I've had some Oldsmobiles in my life, and I know they are torque monsters.
Yeah, they're great cars. They ride like Cadillacs. They're beautiful to look at.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Frank. Let's go pro now.
So I guess you could actually say that we officially went cruising together.
Yeah, but we didn't pick anything up.
No, never do. Saw a lot of nice cars, though.
Plenty of them here.
Gotten to sit in some nice ones. And one more show down and a lot more to go, I think, huh?
Infinity.
Thanks for tuning in to Open Throttle 360. As always, make sure you like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter.
And if you have anything to contribute or any suggestions or comments, go to OpenThrottle360.com.
See you next time here on Open Throttle 360.